Hey everyone. So it is Erin Chung and I am here with Courtney Amaya. And so, Courtney, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are, where you're from, just in case anyone happens to have any referrals, we can go ahead and send them your way.
Sure, absolutely. So I am in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm serving Bexar County, which encompasses San Antonio and like all of the surrounding counties here in Texas. I work primarily with buyers. There are lots of people. The population is growing like crazy, so buyers market is a great place to be.
Nice. There's actually someone was I saw on Facebook that there is a Facebook group and it's something that has to do with people who are moving from California to Texas. And it's literally a group just about that. And she's a realtor and I guess she's getting like lots and lots of leads from just doing that because I guess there's like a mass exodus from California. So
Yes, there's tons of people coming to like the Austin, San Antonio area because I've seen what you guys' houses and what your land costs, and you could literally get a mansion in Texas.
nice. So if anyone wants to move to Texas, which sounds very appealing to me at this point, they also have very friendly business laws too. So
Yes.
I've actually been looking at it myself.
Come on down, y'all.
That's awesome. So, Courtney, you are actually, so you're in the program. And first of all, for those of you guys who are on the podcast who can't see, Courtney is rocking this community influencer since 2019 shirt. It's super cute on her. So you've been in the program, and like, tell me, do you remember what your customer journey was like? Like, how did you find me? Do you happen to remember it all? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I was a brand new, like, not even, I found you before I got my license.
What?
Because I was already, I knew I wanted to do real estate. I knew that my number one problem was going to be that I didn't have a huge, like, natural sphere of influence. I've lived in Texas forever, but I've lived in San Antonio for only 5 years. And before real estate, I was like trapped in this job where I didn't get out and network and mingle. So now I need to be networking and mingling, and I didn't have, anywhere to go. So I knew lead generation was going to be a huge issue for me. And so I was Googling and I was on YouTube when I found you, searching for lead generation ideas. And I was amazed by how many ideas are out there and how many of them aren't really my jam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the best way to put it. But I immediately like connected with the idea of being community based as a realtor. And so that's how I got here.
Gosh. So you're actually way smarter than I am. Before I would, like, when I first became a realtor, I don't know. I had no idea. Like, they don't talk about the fact that once you get your license and then you find your broker, that like you just don't get leads. Like you have to actually like find them on your own.
Yeah.
And so like when I became a realtor, I was like, okay, great. So like, what do I do? And then the guy's like, well, just like start knocking on doors. And I'm like, what? Like, why would I do that? Like,
Oh no.
I had no idea. So yeah, you're in a much better position than I was when I first started, let me tell you. Like, so yeah, I didn't research. Like I did like I think a couple of coaching programs and stuff, and they also told me to knock on doors. So I was like, well, okay, so I guess this is just like what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm glad that you actually have kind of found an alternative that feels good to you, because knocking on doors and cold calling did not feel good to me at all. So
I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, I was looking for something else out the gate because I knew I actually like never did it. And I think one day I should circle back and just try it, like just to try it.
yeah.
But I know like that has got to be uncomfortable.
Oh God, especially like, cause I live right outside of LA, which is like, it's between here and Palm Springs, which is kind of like in the desert. And so the further away you get from LA, the hotter it is. And when I mean hot, I mean, some days it could be like 120. And
Yeah.
so
Oh,
when I was out there door knocking, it was like brutal. And I remember talking to like a Florida agent and I'm like, oh, how come you don't door knock? And she's like, have you ever been to Florida? And I was like, it's impossible. Like, so I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, it's rough. Like I'm sure Texas gets like super hot out there too, especially during
oh
the
yeah. It's been awfully hot lately, especially. But I'm not door knocking.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm not really feeling the heat like some other people might be.
Yes. So talk to me about like what you are doing and like how you are using community influencer marketing to kind of fill your pipeline and fill your funnel.
Yeah, so like immediately, I mean, I'm still going through the courses. I just finished stage 2, so yay.
Awesome.
Um, I realized like how much I've been doing wrong, and I've got to go back and fix it all. But I do feel like I'm off to a pretty good start. One of the things that immediately like was a difference maker for me was optimizing my social media pages. I'm in a brokerage with, it's kind of a unique situation because most of the realtors in my brokerage are brand new. It's a new broker. He just started up his own brokerage. We've got all new agents. And I came to work like to a sales meeting with my newly optimized profile, and they were like, who is she? Like,
What?
she's an expert. I immediately looked like I had like all this experience, and I looked, you know, really polished to my colleagues, and they were like, wow, you know, how'd you know to do all of that? That's so smart.
Wow.
And I dropped a little referral and told them where I learned it all.
Yes.
Um, but so immediately I was like, oh, okay, this is going to work out. So then I started posting. And the first week that I really started posting on my business page, I did a highlight of a local artist. This local artist, he specifically does like, he calls it cityscape photography. So it's all like San Antonio buildings and different angles and different like artistic values to each photo. And they're stunning. So I've been like fangirling him on Instagram and liking his stuff forever. And finally, I just reached out to him and I was like, can I interview you? And can I use your photos? And it was yeses to all.
Wow.
So I have permission to use like all of his photos on my website now. We're like collabing that way. And I did an interview and I linked it to my website, and it blew up for both of us just on Facebook. In the less than a month that my Facebook business page has really been active, I've gotten 18,000 people looking at these, you know, hot topics or hot businesses, and 1,200 engaged, and that's just 2 weeks,
God.
and one platform. So it's getting a lot of exposure. But the thing that I was super excited about, because I didn't get any like hot leads off of it. Nobody reached out ready to purchase, you know, but I got a lot of businesses that want to be featured.
Mm.
So now like my calendar, my Wednesdays are filled up for the next like 6 to 8 weeks with like different businesses that I'm going to be featuring. They all want some love,
Yes.
all the local people. And so I'm looking forward to like what this is going to turn into for me in the long run.
Yeah. So like I'm with Keller Williams, and like when you first get into the brokerage, the first thing that they tell you is like you have to get out there. You have to put your name out there, you have to put your face out there, you have to be like building your database all the time. And like the more you put yourself out there, the more people you meet, the more people you meet, the more leads you get. And so the hardest part with that is that if you're like, again, if you go out there and like, you know, door knocking is one method, but it's a one-to-one model, right? So like you're going out there, you may be able to hit, I don't know, like conservatively 30 doors in maybe 60 minutes or something like that, right? And maybe only one person's home. So that's one person that you were able to get in front of that day. But you are able to get in front of, like you said, 18,000 people in one fell swoop. So even though it's a little bit of work to you know, contact the businesses, to build a relationship and all of that thing, like all of those things, it's like you did that and you're able to reach so many people, which means that you're able to scale. Instead of doing one-to-one, you're able to do one-to-many now. And
Mm.
so that is huge, because just like with any lead generation, it takes time obviously to like get the ball rolling and to snowball and all of your efforts and everything, which is what you've already started doing. But the fact that you have like a schedule that's already built out for like the next 6 weeks, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, 6
amazing.
weeks for sure. And then I've got
God.
2 more that I'm like kind of toying with. And I kind of like, so on Instagram is where I find most of my businesses, because they're just easier to find and easier to connect with for me on Instagram than Facebook. So I start by like liking all of their stuff, and then I'm commenting, and then I go in and shop, and then, you know, slowly but surely they're like, wow, she's really like into what I'm doing. And I think that eventually people will see me through, you know, like the makeup artists and the juice shop that I'm doing, and, you know, the painters and the artists. But I just, you know, as long as they're seeing stuff. And the good thing about it is the artist that I'm working with. So the first week that I featured this cityscape photographer, he got tons of reach himself through this.
Jeez.
So he is like my number one fan. And the link for the interview, he's actually got it in his Instagram bio. Each week when I feature like a new business, I put the link for the interview in my bio. So mine changes weekly, but my link for my website is in his bio probably forever, because he was
That's
really proud of that interview. So
wow. That's amazing.
yeah, he got a lot of free reach. He actually got like legit like business off of it, which is great. Like, you know, him, his family, his sphere, they'll remember me like when they think about real estate for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's like how smart of you to be able to like get in front of all these people, number one, but you're also building relationships. And not only are you doing lead generation at scale because you're doing one to many, you're also building relationships with local business owners at scale as well, because of the fact that you have an audience and they know and they want to use your audience, and you can actually borrow their audiences, which is like free advertising for you. And like as a realtor, that is one of the best possible positions that you can be in, because of the fact that you are like, it makes total sense what you're saying, because it's like if you're using his audience, he's using your audience, and you guys are basically swapping, then you guys are both going to double your audiences overnight. So if you keep doing that week after week after week with all of these businesses, I can't even imagine where you're going to be, especially like in 6 months from now, where all the leads are going to start pouring in after they've seen you all this time, week after week after week, consistently. That's amazing. Great job.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Thanks. I'm one of the things that I'm looking forward to, like a future goal, is to get into videoing some of these interviews.
Yes, do
I'm gonna get
it.
there.
Yeah.
I think that would be super powerful.
Yes. I mean, because it's like, it's the most engaging part of social media, and like you get the most free reach from all of the platforms, as you know. And then it's also, it's like when you're putting yourself on camera, people get to know, like, and trust you so much faster. So like you said,
Yeah.
when they do think of real estate, they think of you, but then they already feel like they know you. So you're not going to have to do all of the rigmarole for like all the listing presentations and all of that stuff. It's like people are just going to start calling you and saying, hey, come list my house. Hey, like, we need to buy or sell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get calls where people just feel like they know you, so they're not going to put you through all of the stuff that
Yeah.
they normally do for agents, you know.
Yeah, I know that that's the next like step, is to get it
Mhm.
to video. So I'm excited about the next stages of LSA, so I can do it with grace.
Yes. 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 Well, I could tell everybody, like, when I first started, I was like so bad. So, I mean, you've such a great presence on camera. Like, you're going to start so well. Like, it took a long time for me to get to this point, but for you, you're just going to get there right away. I can already tell. So,
I hope so. Yeah, thanks.
awesome. Well, before we wrap up, like, is there anything that you just want to say, or anything that people should know before we close out?
Not really. I mean, I guess the only thing that I would say is just to follow what the program says. Like, if you go through the steps of LSA and, you know, you optimize your profile, and then I can't imagine like if I would have already had like existing leads or existing followers, for them to have seen this like transformation, like this like butterfly metamorphosis of like my business page, like um so I mean, just like go through the steps and all the way through, and then, you know, I truly believe in like what the program is preaching long term. I'm really passionate about, you know, getting the stigma off of realtors being so self-centered, and you know, putting the focus where it belongs, which is the community. So just
Yeah.
do the steps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if you focus on the community will respond. You know what I mean? So that's going to be so powerful for you. And you're only on like in the beginning part of the program. So as you move through, you're going to be on fire, girl. Like you've got a lot in store for you. So I'm super excited for you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm sure I'll see you in the Facebook group. And I'm so proud of you and all of the things that you're doing already. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Erin. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a wonderful day.
All right, you too. Thanks. Bye
Bye.
bye.